So here we have a Puma Speedcat Archive, and this is in the Haute Coffee and Frosted Ivory colourway. And these were originally released in 1998 and part of the Puma sponsorship deals and interest in racing and motorsports at the time. And that's what they were inspired by, so you can kind of see it's got that more driving sort of aesthetic on the sneaker. So with the details, it comes in a Haute Coffee and Frosted Ivory colourway, so you can see that on here. It's, you know, the brown is almost like a light brown colourway, and then the Puma logo and the embroidery on here is done in this Frosted Ivory colourway, which is almost like a sail colourway. And this has a rubber midsole outsole combination, so you can sort of see that here. There's nothing too special going on. It's very much, you know, sort of rubber and quite sort of solid as well. There's more tension on the forefoot, which is good. And the it's got sort of suede upper on this as well, so you can sort of see that here. It's very sort of pliable and flexible, and you know, I think the material feels nice and soft as well, so they've done a good job on that. And the price for these are £90. So with the comfort and sizing, these are on the medium to firm side because there's no tech in there really. It kind of reminds me of a Gazelle or a Handball Special for that reason. And you know, like I said, because it's got minimum tech in there, you sit very low to the ground, and the insole is very basic as well. And this has a neutral arch support in my opinion. There's nothing you know, in terms of the contouring to support your arch. However, what I will say is, because of the way the rubber outsole is created, there's a slight kind of angle going on as you sort of go downwards. And I went true to size on these, and there's no issues with what I found. I have a wide foot and basically tend to go up half size in certain trainers. With this one, the length was fine because my foot was about here with socks on. And then also in terms of the width, you can kind of see it kind of starts to go outwards. And because there's a lot of flex on the upper, just found it just to be fine on foot. And that's why I'd say there's no wear in time with these either. I think they work well. And the grip on the outsole is sort of standard really. I think you can sort of see here, it's got that kind of tyre type traction pattern going on, which is you know, obviously a nod to Motorsports, and that kind of then goes towards the heel as well. So obviously these are sort of more, I suppose because they're inspired by Motorsports, maybe meant for driving. So it has that classic Puma styling. Obviously, you know, it's one of those sort of archive pieces where it's very similar to other Puma trainers of that sort. And the midsole on the heel is what I was saying earlier. It's probably one of those sort of sneakers that is actually good for driving and good for sort of motorsports, or you know, if you're on a motorbike, for example. I think these were, you know, give you that ground feel quite a lot as well, and feel quite nice on foot. And because they're lightweight as well, you won't get too much tension. Especially, you know, if you've got pedals to use on in a racing car, for example, you know, you'll be sitting like that and, you know, pushing forward. So this particular spot on the heel is a good thing, and you know, kind of gives you that extra bit of like I said, just overall support for, you know, using the accelerator or the clutch or the brake. And he also has a Puma embroidery on the toe box, which I think is a really cool touch, and don't necessarily see it too much on sort of Puma trainers. And you know, the embroidery is on the back as well, and also on the side, which is really nice. And I think this one can be rocked for all seasons really. I think you know, the traction, it has a good pattern on there. I'm not sure how it would hold up in really sort of harsh weather conditions, but you know, I think it's a good one to wear whenever really. And I think this one, being the colour that it is, it's a good one for sort of casual and smart casual, because it's got a sort of plain, sleek look to it. And it's almost sort of shoe-like, similar to, like I said, the Gazelle and the Handball Special from Adidas and other low-profile sneakers from like Asics and New Balance. You know, it's all the same sort of stuff really, but I think this one works well because of the fact that it's more of a speedy vibe. And it comes with like these brown laces in there, and you can also put in sail to match the, you know, Puma logo. And you know, obviously white as well, and I think black would work, you know, as well. So you know, you got options, and maybe even pink if you want to go, you know, a bit more daring. So with the final thoughts, I think the colourway is really nice in this one. That's what's attracted me to it. I'm a big fan of like brown sneakers, especially at the moment, and it's just an easy one to wear really. And like I said earlier, they're very lightweight on foot. You know, compared to other sneakers, I find they're very lightweight. The only heaviness that you get is obviously the rubber outsole. And I also like the way they look on, you know, in terms of the low profileness of them. And normally I'm not a fan of these types of sneakers, but I think this one, because it has a slightly different sort of racing type mold, I kind of like the vibe of it. And also just that Puma embroidery on the toe box. It's a nice little touch, but it just, I don't know, it adds something else to the sneaker. And I also like the materials on this as well. I think the materials are really nice. So with the cons, I think the comfort, it's not going to be amazing. Like I said, it's got a really basic insole in there. It's nothing special. And, you know, there's no cushioning or no sort of tech in there. But what I will say, out of the, you know, other low profile sneakers I've tried, I think this is still, you know, one of the better ones. And it also has a narrow heel base. I was trying to sort of figure out why I have a slight bit of instability. I think maybe it's the first time I'm trying them on, I don't know, but just a little bit of instability. And I thought maybe it was a forefoot area where, you know, my foot's probably wider than the sneaker itself, so it kind of sort of sits slightly outwards. But I think it comes more from the heel. Even though it's got stable flatness, I feel like it's, you know, slightly more narrow than usual, and that's maybe where the instability is coming from. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. Initially, like I said, I thought it was a forefoot, but I think it's the back. And then, you know, because then when I'm kind of pushing back on it, it kind of feels like this is rocking on the front. So I think that's the crux of it, really. But, you know, other than that, I think it's a cool sneaker. So with the look and style, I'm going to give it a 5. I think it looks really cool, especially in this colourway. I'm not too much of a fan of the red colourway, but the black one was also nice. The comfort, I'm going to give it a 3. There's something special going on, but, you know, again, it's a low profile sneaker and feels very similar to all the other sneakers, and maybe slightly better than the, you know, like things like the Gazelle and Handball Special. And the quality, I'll give that a 5. I think you know, Puma have done a good job. The materials on this are really nice, and they're very soft, and similar to the Handball Special. You know, they kind of feel very easy to wear and quite easy and forgiving as well. And the pricing, I'm going to give that a 5 as well. I think for £90, you know, it's coming at a good price, and like I said, it's got that sort of trend at the moment of being sort of a fashion sneaker that's in at the moment or coming in. So, you know, it's a good one to grab, and they're pretty much sold out quite quickly as well. And overall, at the moment, I'm going to give them a 5. Obviously, the more I wear them, the more I kind of maybe look at or revising that rating. But at the moment, for me, you know, just looking at them, looking at the quality and the materials and the way they look and kind of the vibe that I usually tend to sort of go for, I kind of prefer this look, which is a slightly different look to the, I suppose, Handball and the Gazelles out there, and, you know, things of that nature. And they're a bit more sort of futuristic looking, and I kind of like the racing vibes. And for example, I'm a big fan of the Jordan 14, and that has like a Ferrari influence on it, for example. And this one's similar, I suppose, in that vein. Not obviously completely the same, because this has got minimal tech in there, but it kind of gives you that vibe.